point for CFO. We'll see if T1 can bring us to the Game 5. And I'm not going to lie, I would love a Game 5, Dracos. Come on!
Game 5. As would all the T1 fans in the house as we get in. Match point for CFO. T1 once again on the blue side, CFO on red. And you highlighted it beautifully. T1, a team that always, when it counts, seem to find their form. Always in the right moments, they peak. Well, sadly for them, they're out of moments. This is the right moment.
This is the moment
where you have to deliver that incredible performance for another shot, for a single game to decide if you'll stay in the upper bracket or go down to lower. One best of 5 away from elimination. TF band, Yorick band as well. Champion shared by both Rest and Driver, hence the double bans here. Talia, the Zaya band again.
Like that. Definitely one of Gumayushi's strongest picks. Also, Karias Rakan, notorious for very similar reasons. And it's also been the draft for CFO, and I don't like pointing towards draft too much, right? Because I feel like it takes away from the gameplay. For CFO, the gameplay has been there, as this is a very obvious B1 Rumble angle with that ban of the Ornn Galio already taken away. So we'll see if CFO recognize and want to ban it. But T1, they're going to have to rally here, or CFO are going to get the 3-1 upset. And even in game 1, you can argue that CFO, for a lot of the decision-making, looked better. It was the skirmishing of T1 that got them back in, that got them that win. If CFO had played that a little bit more respectful, we could have just been looking at a sweep, as it's going to be the comfort for Faker taken away instead.
Rumble up. Boris still on the table. Banned in other games. Unlock it here has been used in some regions as a top lane counter pick. Rest known to bring the spice, although I think for now that might be a bridge too far. Certainly not a pick you want to give away. We're looking at a T1 draft where Guma has a lot of potential powerful picks, both the Varus and the Jhin, very much in his wheelhouse.
For Rest, a couple of considerations here. Mbessa, insanely strong when you can get to your spikes. Saw that even earlier today. Although didn't lead to a win for Mern. We still saw the impact in the fights, as there is still a good amount of junglers available here. Junja going to be picking up the Skarner here. As Owner will have an opportunity to try and look for a counter pick, but not that much is still available here. Faker's pick, I think, also certain to come through, but what are they going to go towards? Like Orianna is a consideration. If you can find a good AD jungler, can also just go for comfort for Guma. Pick up that Varus, but into an Mbessa that is already a little spooky, Dracos.
CFO prioritizing some comfortable options here, but giving away a cornucopia of powerhouse meta picks. Casting some doubt onto the start of this draft phase. Now the Poppy to follow, a good tool for disengages. Potential flex as well.
Yeah, I think that this is looking to be a flex. With the form that Carry has been in today, I've seen him pull off some absolutely heist-level gameplay with this Poppy, but today's been very, very muted. Kairing really getting the better of him together with Doggo. So I'm guessing this is going to go towards Owner. As the Jhin, I would love this here, because even if T1 end up clawing their way to a game number 5, this is a pick that they would have loved to have. One of Guma's other big comfort picks. And with the Mbessa, you have a lot of backline threat. Going to take away a possible setup there. Doggo on the Jhin, going to be able to play off the rest of his teammates very nicely.
Definitely will be. Of course, Skarner as well. Some pretty solid engage options for CFO. And some good follow-up with the Jhin. A little bit more CC might be needed from the side of T1, but a lot of magic damage, a lot of range, and some excellent disengage tools. I really like what they've got here. It's not the spiciest draft, but it's just so powerful.
There are still so many engage supports left. And obviously a lot of them do not like playing into Poppy. That is important to note. But Nautilus is still available. Alistair is still available. Arakan is still available. All options here. Rel, I didn't even finish the sentence, or it's already banned away. As we do expect Owner to go towards an AD top laner, or AD jungler here rather.
Yep.
Again, if it is not the Poppy, but you can see, I think CFO kind of hedging their bets, which does make sense.
And T1 continuing to put pressure on Kai Wing's champion pool. Again, pretty universally agreed upon weak point, but we've gone so late in the draft and so few of the engage options have been
like
taken
the Nocturne. It's a good ban.
Still picks like the Oyster up and available. Obviously can really struggle into the Poppy.
And we're kind of getting towards picks like Neferi, like Viego, that haven't been quite as successful. Clearly the read from CFO is that this Poppy is going towards Carrier.
Want to take away some of the picks that can threaten Doggo on the back line, it would seem, as well. Things like the Nocturne, things like the Lee Sin. Plenty of great moments from Owner domestically on that pick. Both those picks, really, as the Oyster's taken off. Okay, so what is left?
Could be a Bard angle as well, if you want to go towards that. Both as a pick away, but also into some of the immobile characters on the enemy team.
I think it would be good into, of course, yeah, the Varus and the Rumble. Oh, the tension is high, man. We're both so serious.
Know.
It's only draft, and we're so stressed out. Okay. Maokai. Bard. Bard. Okay.
No.
Okay, all right. The timer.
No, I know. I'm with you. I kind of like the Bard. I do think the Nautilus struggles a lot more into the Poppy, but you can obviously go for you get Poppy out of the way, you can buffer the Q, find your way into the fight, but I still don't think that it's the most fun matchup.
And again, it feels like they're hedging their bets there because they're afraid to pick Bard and get counterpicked in support and see that Poppy move into jungle. So they're just blind picking something reliable. It might not be the best in some matches, but it certainly won't be the worst. The Bard, definitely a pick that can be exploited in the laning phase. So now Faker Sylas.
Blind Sylas to come through here.
I mean, it was just last year, right, where we saw this guy go Super Saiyan on this pick, finding incredible angles.
Game 4 and 5 in the Worlds. Obviously, Faker having an incredible performance, but even though he was struggling in spring, I think today he actually just has been invisible. And even in the series where T1 was struggling throughout spring, still was able to often make an impact.
Well, in game 1, it was Annie. He was the utility pick, right? Setting others up for success. And Sylas isn't necessarily that pick, but now we have the J4 to punish immobile champions. So what is the option for Hongq?
If he really wants to throw down, can go towards the Akali.
Skill matchup. One of the OGs. How confident is he feeling? He's gotten the better of Faker in every lane thus far.
Maybe Ari as well, looking to take it away. Oh.
Double AP topside. Limited lockdown. Poppy does not interrupt the blink with the steadfast presence. This is a bold bet. But instead it's the Casio. I think almost universally considered one of the hardest champions to play in the game, League of Legends. Your actions have to be perfect. Every click has to be flawless. Hongq really betting on himself, and it is a solid matchup. Sylas, a single misstep, the miasma comes down, and it feels impossible to play this.
You get run down. It's a short-range comp as well from T1. The Casio feels like a smash hit, and after a couple of great drafts, I think CFO are looking at this, feeling great. Only thing I do think you have to be worried about is towards that top side, some early game volatility. The 2v2, the 3v3, once those ultimates are available, the flag and drag into Sylas getting on top of someone, the Rumble combined with Jarvanel, combined with Poppy, that can be a problem. But with how CFO have been playing, T1, they got to get through the laning phase first.
And Hongq's first Casio ever. Again, betting on himself. The confidence there, already pulled out the Swain, has already shown us so much. But you highlighted the Jarvan, the potential for Owner in this early game to take over off a few early ganks and punish those immobile carries. T1 have clear avenues of attack, a much stronger composition overall. Can CFO weather the storm, make the upset happen? T1 bring us to silver scrapes.
I can only hope so, Dracos. This game number 4 is afoot. Can't wait to see if CFO can close it out here, or is T1 going to bring us to game number 5?
An incredible series thus far. CFO showing us so much more than we ever expected. Now I need to see T1 dig deep, rally in this moment. An incredibly veteran lineup. Not a team to crumble under the pressure.
Team that has very few finishes below 3rd place in their time as a core 4-man unit together. Obviously did miss out on first stand as Humble Life was the representative. As Carrier found by the Snake.
Twin Fang Star from Honkyu burning through a little bit of that mana. Level 2 is where Faker has to be really careful.
Tension is palpable here. Audience,
I mean, good job.
Going crazy. Love to hear it.
We got fan chant leaders for CFO and T1. Love to hear it.
As per usual, T1, really anywhere they play, playing with home advantage. But the CFO fans,
and the thing is,
are just gonna let it get away with it.
We talked about it being T1's house. Just feels like every arena is, but CFO gaining a ton of fans in this series already.
Oh, the chains.
Not connecting is gonna be big. Hook just a little bit out of range. The Lollipop doesn't quite mean it can connect, and every single lane feels tense, Chronicler. We've seen what happens in these early games.
Yeah, the leads for CFO, when they found them, have just been pushed so insanely far. And you can see Doggo and Kaiwing going to be getting themselves the earlier level 2, playing with Prio. This time, though, there isn't a dive waiting for them. Will be okay. They also have Owner towards their side of the map. This Jarvan gonna have to find a decent amount of early impact. Owner thus far not able to showcase both the skirmishing power as well as his ganking prowess that T1 heavily relied upon in particularly early to mid part of spring. For CFO, they're chilling, right? Even if
Faker
gets on top of you, Honkyu.
Sidestep, good flash out. Faker in trouble, ticking, but he won't fall yet. Owner, EQ flash, keeping it going. Faker standing on the edge, hoping to be Honkyu back, and it's first blood for T1.
And I haven't finished my sentence, or Owner makes his presence known. Even with Honkyu flashing the chains, Faker, with just the tiniest bit of health, walks it up, and Owner flashes Cassiopeia. That's easy pickings for a Jarvan.
Should be, and this is exactly what you need from a Jarvan. The timing. Oh, Honkyu
just
saw it, thought he could outplay. Overconfident or didn't see.
I think it's just as Faker was going to go in for a trade, he sees Owner shows up. She's like, my guess he's playing for the kill, knowing that actually getting out is going to be tough.
Topside now.
Trying to make a sideline impact. Rest.
Stunned there. Dorn starting to burn Rest down. Rest living for an extra second. Flash out. T1. Monstrous in the first few minutes of this game. Faker conceding a bit in lane to make his presence felt on the map.
He's going to be missing out on a decent amount of CS for this, but that's a kill going over to Doran. Courtesy of Faker.
Interrupt there. Carrier taking a decent amount of damage. Hammer Shock firing back. Arrow does connect. Good trade from Guma. Honkyu trying to zone Faker off. Junja moving through, but Owner already in the midst of CFO's jungle, taking away the Raptors.
Ooh, he uses his cooldowns. Should be fine, though.
Punish.
Hard for him to actually get the hook.
Connects Carrier, not ready this time around. Ignite already ticking. Damage coming through. Carrier forced to flash out. CFO trying to make the fast play. Had the opportunity for a recall, but instead opting to stick around.
And Guma not running the lethal tempo.
Another hook connecting. Damage there, cooldowns there, forcing flash and barrier.
What a win there for the bot lane of CFO. Again, this time in the 2v2, Kaiwing almost leisurely throws out the hook, finds Guma.
Arrow. Doggo has to be careful though. He has cleanse, he doesn't have barrier. Honkyu solid trade, but Faker manages to sidestep all the poison, so the extra damage not coming in. And Honkyu just continues to trade aggressively. Owner on the way forward. Rinse and repeat on this gank. Sidestep from Honkyu has to be good, and he just doesn't have the movement speed. Owner moving up. They don't quite finish it, though. Can't afford to go into the tower. And Honkyu firing back. He gets the kill. Faker goes in and makes it a 1-for-1. But T1, again, over-eager. They're keeping the pace in their favor. They're keeping the gold in their favor, but a small fumble.
I think they have to, though, because you do have to make sure that Faker gets the catch-up in this lane, right? So trading the 1-for-1, I think, in this instance is worth it. Allows Faker to shove in this lane. We'll see Kaiwing catch it. Looks like a full rotation actually coming through as, again, Honkyu, kind of the same. The ward not quite timed out. Does stall there with the side steps. And even with the flag and direct, there's not enough damage for Owner. That second turret shot in particular, I think, catching him off guard. But then Faker with the flash W level up as well. He actually was shockingly close to going down there as well. has now 100% kill participation. Faker trying to make his way back into form after a rough first 3 games.
T1 not a team afraid to play on slim margins. The CFO set up control around this dragon. Doran level 6, lane assignments. Keeping the bot lane of CFO on the bottom side as Doran alone here. Will have to do what he can to defend under tower. Rest a bit behind in terms of overall XP because of the previous play, and Carry in a good position to force a dive. Guma no 6 though.
Rest does have his ultimate available, so he can actually buffer that. Get a good amount of invulnerability to CC, and Guma,
the observer's teasing us.
I don't think he's going to hit 6.
Flag,
I don't know without 6 if they can do this. They need a
potential
member.
Hex flash over the wall.
They need someone else. Are there reinforcements?
Hex flash in, wall, trying to make sure that he can't get out. A quick burn down, and down goes Rest. Instantaneous dive. CFO now forced to respond, but Faker on the way. Waiting over the wall, waiting for them to pull the trigger. Is Junja's going to find Faker? Faker forced to trade, has a Skarner ultimate of his own. Alties might just get traded out, but Kailing now here to follow. Faker caught out, has an ult, steals away the Impale, manages to catch 3, but there's no follow-up there, and down goes Faker.
It's a 1-for-1 trade across the board. Topside going the way of T1. But even though Doran survives, Faker ends up going down, and while that's going on, Hongq, 22 CS lead by the way, just slamming mid lane waves into the turret. This game very chaotic here, Drake, because his owner gets found yet again eating some chicken. And he'll just, I guess, get rep buff instead. That's the abandoned ship, because we do see the pings come down.
And his defense is good chicken. I can understand.
It is, yeah.
But this is T1 with a 1K gold lead. T1 matching, fighting fire with fire for it feels like the first time in this series. Owner has been on the back foot the vast majority of these early games. Jarvan demanding that aggressive play. And Owner certainly delivering as Rest.
No flash.
The one who's really suffering here. Level 6 for Guma. Rest has to be careful about walking up at all. X-Flash, as well as the heal for Carry, a little bit extra movement speed.
Jinja, I think, going to be looking to steal at least 1 grub. Owner finds one. Does T1 actually want to possibly flip the game here? Carry doesn't have his ultimate yet, so turning this into a numbers advantage, not going to be easy. There's also Jhin, right? Always have to be careful. He can join fights a lot faster than you might initially think due to the range on ultimate. Doran does have TP. Oh. CFO, are you going to contest this?
1K, they just want 2 grubs. They'll be happy to get it and walk away. CFO ready to force the fight.
Got it.
Junja taking one back. Now they're set to grab 2 grubs. T1 willing to risk the flip. Arrow. Okay. We all know the play we're thinking of. It's a baby version of that play, but you can hear the call in your head. You can hear the swear words from Cadril himself.
It's a little reminder.
It's a little reminder
of what once happened as Guma finds the steal on a small.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
Tiny. It's a little thing.
It's a purple objective in the pit. We'll take it. But the most important thing, as fun as that was, is that CFO does deny the triple, right? Junja with a great 50-50 smite wins it, denies them the opportunity to actually get full value from those grubs, and simultaneously CFO did pick up the dragon, next one up in about 2 minutes.
It's going to be Hextech though, so a lot of the damage, a lot of the burst souls not on the board. Certainly would have favored T1, but weren't able to grab that first Drake. See what the soul spawn is going to be.
The early game, yeah, very volatile. Slowing down a little bit here. I imagine T1 just wants to keep the pace up. CFO have made very clear that if they get to decide what happens on the map, they are more than a match for T1, now running away with 2 consecutive early games. This third one, T1 at least have a little bit of grip.
And we have seen in a close game where T1 have so many playmakers, as they do in this game 4. They're able to attack from a lot of angles, and CFO weren't able to weather that storm in game 1. See if T1 can replicate that success here. Still a big lead for Hongq in the bottom lane. Cassio, a champion that can build all these scaling options. Will just be a massive threat later, but again, it's the execution where so many Cassio players fall short. You're spacing every Q. Everything has to be perfect.
That's Carrier on a flank angle here. Does get spotted.
On the retreat, gonna go through the wall. Carrier finds the knockback into the wall. Junja, instantaneous flash out.
Carry also healing, or rather, there was the spell book, obviously the teleport has the heal now available for the upcoming fight.
Yep.
And important is that Junja doesn't have flash, both offensively, because it means that he can't go for a big flash impale play, but also that Carrier now has the opportunity to much easier knock him out, right? That's one of the things we're always going to talk about when any objective is started. When there's a Poppy in the game, it's so easy to just turn any situation into a numbers advantage, start the objective. They have forced to walk in, you hold them out. It's top side. Doran in this matchup with the early kill, actually doing very well in the 1v1, and neither top laner outside of that has really seen a lot of attention.
And Doran, again, the strongest point on the map for T1 in terms at least of an individual gold. It was Faker who used what little advantage he had from that early kill to set Doran up for success. And now Rest put incredibly far behind, 20 CS down. This game very unplayable for the Ambessa at this stage. Just has to catch waves, and T1, well, Doran can't just TP face in front of the Ambessa.
Look at Owner's ult.
We'll get first move.
Can they get the top laners into this fight as well? There's Doran, deep TP.
Flash ult available for Honkyu. The Cassio, the potential to turn. Initial hook, locked down onto Carrier, trying to start the fight, but Owner immediately starts as well. Ulti over the wall from Doran. It's Doran showing up in the clutch, in the moment, finding the angle, as finally the curtain call comes out, but the curtains have already closed on CFO in this fight.
And it's the arrival of Rumble. The CFO's backline gets toasted. So many of the early fights over the last couple of games going their way. This one not the case. Attempted collapse onto Carrier. T1, the response this time ready. And that's going to be the Drake, not end of the world. CFO in this game are always going to be feeling comfortable once you hit the items on both Rest and on Q. But the mid game is where we saw both domestically a lot of their troubles arise, and also going back to game number 1, Dracos.
Definitely true. We take a look back at this replay. The combo here from T1 is phenomenal. Equalizer across the top. Doran perfectly overheating. And is exactly what T1 want from a team fight.
Happily giving his life to ensure that the fight is won. Guma unthreatened in that one. It's the value of the Jarvan combined with the timely route of Doran. Rest there a little bit disjointed with the rest of his team. I don't think it would have mattered with that engage, but maybe they could have traded more evenly, looked for a refight. It's another Chemtech, and for Silas, for Ambessa, and for Cassio, obviously going to be feeling pretty good.
Definitely will. Nice cancel on the recall.
Oh, nice.
Coming in from Doggo. So a bit of a tempo lead. Is Carrier going to take that much longer to reset? Seems like Lock at first will be the call to try and mitigate any upfront burst damage. Honkyu and Faker continue to trade blows, but with Faker getting out of that early lane phase, a bit more caution from Honkyu. Not entirely sure where Owner could be lurking. And Owner, we talk about kind of the brawlers, the skirmishers, the Xin you mentioned earlier.
Yup.
Champions with a ton of that individual agency, the potential to outfight. And Jarvan a lot more of a linear champion, but still having an incredible amount of impact in this game. 7 out of 8 kills he's participated in, and really has been the driving force outside of that one gank topside from Faker for getting T1 this big lead.
I love Jarvan's design. There's still so much skill expressed, you know, when you will, the flash, flag and drag combos that you can pull off. Obviously, you know, all champions, so we don't see him until we're like in game 4, maybe game 5.
Yeah.
He's
not a game 1.
He's not a game 1 champion. No, unfortunately not.
It's 2025. I'll take my reworked Pantheon, thank you.
It's fun. I don't mind it, but, you know, the classics hit for a reason.
It's very true.
It's the gold lead,
He also, I
2.5K.
think, has the Fnatic skin, which is kind of funny.
That's very cute. Good for you, Owner. Not when we see that
So
often.
at least one person in the audience with a Fnatic jersey, so there's their shout out.
It's Junja. Maybe an angle on Doran.
Ready to go. Immediate ulti. The combo now coming through, trying to burn through Orner before he can get the ulti down. He just barely manages to get it up, but it's not where he needs it. CFO, quick shutdown, finding an angle now at Baker, who might be in trouble. Ulti going across, but Owner is here to respond, and they're looking to turn it back. A good ulti coming in from Honkyu, but he gets cut down where he stands.
The T1 going to be happy with that trade. Unless Carrier also goes down, because yes, Doran dies. Oh, Carrier.
Let's repeat. Nice dash out to a minion. Ulti, but only hits a creep. Trying to zone them away from the tower. Junja's tanking. And Faker, in the meantime, breaks down that top lane. Tier 1, it's almost 4,000 gold in the lead for T1.
Guma?
Doggo ulting, but Guma's just going to walk it in the E, the sidestep. Q connecting as well.
And Guma, not wanting to use the summoners, but with the barrier and flash, could have fully committed there. As we take another look at this fight. First, it looks like Faker is in trouble, but they do know they have a numbers advantage here. Finds the ult. and he hits the stun onto Honkyu, which is the only reason why he actually ends up surviving. If Honkyu doesn't get hit by that, Faker trades 1-for-1. Owner ends up killing Kaiwing, but I think CFO going to feel a lot better about the trade. But now the game rapidly snowballing away from them, because even though they did kill Doran, the first turret bot going the way of T1. Mid lane turret immediately being taken by Guma as well.
And it might end up feeling like it's just too little too late. 1.5k gold lead for Owner. 1,000 for Guma. Faker with an advantage of his own despite going down so much CS earlier on. T1, this is a team that, again, when you give them an inch, they will take a mile. And we saw in previous games how that can bite them, how that can turn against them. But this is the kind of game where the gold favors them, the map control favors them, relatively even in objectives. This is where this team is at their scariest.
40 seconds on the Dragon. 80 carries have their flashes available. I think CFO want to play for the absorption. Take the initial blow, re-engage, counter-engage with the Skarner, set up with that Jhin. For T1, obviously, go in all the way, all the time. Just try and find a target, blow them up before a response is available. Utilize the power of the Poppy to create a numbers advantage, and then combine that Jarvan ult with the Rumble. They need to be careful about the backline though. Guma, even though he has sums available, if Rest gets on top of him, might still be in some serious trouble. And he is the most fed member.
Oh, Mega Blast Cone.
On
Vision there.
T1 is Guma. Should be okay here.
Nice use of the banner coming in from Owner, giving them that bit of extra vision. His carry is on the hunt. T1 exercising control.
Slow and steady.
Strength. They know they have mid-prio easy with his Varus.
He's big.
He's very big.
Level up, although not that much. Second item done. Swifties with feats as well. Drake is started. TP already coming in. Doran needs the base first. Will TP now.
Ulti from Honkyu. Big to watch. The ulti from Carrier, arguably even more important. T1 immediately go in, knowing they have the man advantage for a brief moment in time. They're going to get the Dragon, and now look at the fall. But Honkyu over the wall. It's a perfect ulti, but I don't think he has the damage quite yet. Trying to burn through Guma, but the exhaust is perfectly placed, and T1 obliterates CFO.
But CFO, they're a little early with Rest. He arrives in time, but T1 still get the numbers advantage thanks to the ult from Carrier. And now Doggo, not long for this world.
Rest trying to get something back, hoping to find these shutdowns. Carrier takes him out of range of his own tower. Doran living.
Doran donates his life, but T1 still gonna be happy. That's a 6-point, or actually with the turret, upwards of 7k lead.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, Dracos, and it's looking good for a game 5 as Honkyu finds a beautiful ult, but they're a member down. The exhaust comes through. Carrier and Doran ensure that no one else can follow up when it comes to the damage. And Guma just not threatened enough. And I am feeling good about as some silver scrapes.
Seems like Vancouver is as well. We do seem very close to scraping silver. At this point, if you're CFO, you don't want to let it get to a game 5, but your options to come back in this game are so limited. The death ball of T1 is lethal, and you talked about their strategy is absorb and fire back, but you just can't absorb.
No, you're getting knocked out.
That much damage.
On the first blow, unfortunately. And
it's like if you're in a fight and you get a black eye and you're like, you should see the other guy. It's like, we can see the other guy. The other guy is fine, bro.
Yeah, it's not looking too hot here for CFO. And with how insanely powerful multiple members are, this is the real issue, is that even if you somehow get on top of Guma, if you don't attend to Doran, he will toast you. Same for Faker, still sitting on 2 items, and now with a level lead, despite everything that happened in the previous game, Dracos.
T1 have a clear blueprint to push this lead forward. 2 Drakes now.
Just start Herald, right? You have the Poppy, you have vision control, you have Faker pushing in the side with TP available.
Otacon, name of the game here. Rest really can't afford to walk in. The objectives are getting shredded. Honkyu trying to make good into the side lane, ready to backstep it. Faker tries to turn and he manages to get it. Faker still stepping up, goes through. Honkyu gonna turn it back, Faker!
Just got gapped. Maybe he can back and then make
Doggo's
his way
now free
over.
firing. Ulti into the midst of the entire team. They're now trying to turn. Rest into the midst of it. It's an entire flip. And who's going to come into the end? Are you kidding me? The objective bounty claim T1. It is the GOAT who throws it away, who goes in when he does not need to.
Guma looking for an extra kill, will not find it. And Faker, as you highlight, doesn't need to go in there. All he needs to do is make sure that the Casio can't join the fight. If he's a level up, thinks he can make it work, but mid-chains gets ulted, and then Honkyu reads him like a book. Turns it around, and here Keria not able to actually get Junja the flash from the Skarner to ensure the play works out. The Jin laying down supportive fire, and the Smite of Skarner being the difference maker there.
And the choice for Owner was let his AD carry die or be in range to flip the objective. He chose to save Guma, but at the cost of losing this Otacon. That's still a 5K gold lead. T1 still far ahead, but so many flowers in the favor of CFO mean that gold lead isn't quite as big as it looks. And it's a kind of misstep they can't afford to make again. The Casio is only continuing to get stronger and stronger.
Same for Skarner, same for Mbessa. Rest only an item away. I think that free item breakpoint, particularly if you're able to get like something like a death stance, basically impossible to take you down in fights, especially if they can get their hands on maybe a Chemtech Dragon. On cue, that play towards the top side might end up being the turning point, might end up being what allows CFO to not let this go to a game 5. This Dragon about to be up. Guma doesn't have Barry, but does have his flash available. Summoners mostly available across the board. Not quite there yet for Junja. And same, I think, for Honkyu, but his should be available if they can stall for just a little bit.
CFO making sure they keep vision in the area. 14 seconds to that crucial objective. T1 approaching soul point, armor penetration there for Guma.
A lot of damage here on the poke.
CFO desperately trying to find a way back in, hoping for another good fight.
And Junja doesn't have flash, so Keria
EP
should be easier for him. T1, though, they can play this slow. Just keep poking and prodding away. Rest's going to try and look for backline access on the flank.
Guma with 3 items relative to the opposition, one of the strongest players in the team. Junja taking a big chunk. Lock up there. They're going to try and delete the jungle instantly. Honkyu's ulti doesn't connect on anybody. But in the meantime, it's Mbessa in the backside, trying to delete Guma. Guma in trouble. Guma down. But T1 holding on to hope, holding on to the fight. They have the man advantage. It's a 2-for-1 thus far. Doggo alive. Honkyu alive. The damage is there. Damage traded back onto Kaiwing. In goes Keria. Doran to follow. Honkyu trying to burn as quickly as he can. The root not going to connect. T1 better in the exchange. Faker. Full confidence. Curtains called. Doggo has to back away. Owner
still going.
Ready. Flag. Drag. Doggo back into the tower. Doran going golden. Honkyu trying to turn it to miasma, stopping Doran from getting out. The Hex Flash going. Carry 2 down. Faker once more.
Tries to go.
In. Backstep. Turning forward.
The miasma!
Tanking. Keria moving in. He has a big shield. And down he goes.
I don't know if that's worth, though. The Dragon is up. We'll have to see if T1 can still make a play towards it. It looks like they're definitely going to get this turret if Faker and Keria can get out. The contest should be possible, but look at the fog. No TP available, so I think they made it out.
They're chasing, but they didn't get the objective.
What a
They're still holding on. I mean, it's incredible. And also a little bit messy.
Yeah, they could have just backed off and done Dragon, I know. Because we take a look here, the block onto Junja, there's no vision. He just gets blown up immediately. But the split of the fight here where Owner is trying to deal with 2 people, which can't really do, and they did get it in top of Kuma's. Yeah, why not? It's T1. Star Baron.
Kaiwing did grab the shutdown kill onto Guma though, which means much less gold into the back pocket of Rest.
It's 25 minutes. We cannot do Baron. As T1 have learned, CFO though, they still get the TP. So that is a win for T1. Does mean that Honkyu won't have that summoner available. T1 instead look like they want to turn it into a movement towards the Dragon here. Do note that Owner is just clearing his top side. Wanting to get to a 3rd item, unheard of generally for a jungler. Is the poke from Guma going to again be something that T1 will rely on? Soften up these members, but CFO, 3 items done. Honkyu sitting
as
on
the
Leandris
Seekers as well.
As the Seekers. So even if Owner finds an ult, that might not be enough.
T1 denying as much as they can, taking as much space as they can. Scuttlecrab down does give CFO relative comfort to step up. Doran taking the Mega Blast Cone. A little bit of poke going over the wall. 8K. Doggo gets to open the fight with the curtain call. Keria fishing, and he manages to find the ult. CFO hesitating for a moment. Junja wants to flip it. Ready to risk the 50-50. Keria trying to zone him away. 3K. Good diligence coming in. And they're going in for it. They manage to find the ult. Faker is taking a Skarner ult of his own, and it's Rest off on the side lane. Honky living for a moment, but Owner wants to make the difference. Cassio goes golden. Rest in the back line. Mbessa. Junja. They are making it happen. T1 taken down in the pit.
T1 gets obliterated by CFO. They get the dragon, but at a cost that surely is too much. The CFO make their way, the Flying Oysters on their way to the Baron.
And you thought it'd be simple. You thought with the Mbessa gone, it'd be a flip. T1 have the discipline not to flip it, to keep Junja at arm's length. It's a flash in. The risk, Owner secures. It feels like everything you could want for T1, but it's the fight where they find a way to crawl their way back in.
Faker whiffs the ult. It's the miasma plus the ultimate from Honkyu. He baits in Owner, keeps out or stuns Doran, and miasma's Faker. So while one part of T1 is trying to get on top of this backline and is unable to, Rest gets on top of the Varus, and as we highlighted, once he does, there is no way out.
The potential for CFO reignited as the gold now within touching distance. The last time Asia Pacific, the LCP, the LMS, the many names they've had historically, ever won a best of 5 against Korea. Taipei Assassins, Azubu Frost, 2012 World Finals Toys. We know the Oriana skin, you know the Nunu, you know the roster.
That's 13 years.
Unprecedented. CFO, they're not there yet, but they are on match point, and it is T1.
Do the math on how old Honkyu was back then. It's insane.
I thought he was 5. I did the math. Kai Wing caught out, though. Guma looking for a quick punish. T1, a nice pick. Whatever story we want to tell, it's not done yet.
Certainly isn't Dracos. These fights have been back and forth, and it really feels like it comes down to how much can Honkyu do, and can they keep Doggo safe? Rest has also been able to get onto the T1 backline very consistently. But with Poppy, you're never going to really feel safe at any point. Any fight can be turned around very quickly. If you overstep, if, say, Honkyu, Doggo or Rest gets knocked away and T1 gets to still pull the trigger on a fight, which, let's be real, with Jarvan, you're not really getting away. If they want to force a fight, they can. But the gold lead, basically negligible at this point, and I'd argue that with Skarner, Mbessa, and Cassio, you're not feeling too bad about going into the later stage of the game.
Definitely aren't. But again, the pressure of execution. It's clear what T1 want to do. So many good proactive engage options. But they have to consider Guma in the back line. For a long time, the strongest relative member on the team, although Doggo has been catching up.
Catch of Night now done for Guma.
That's big. Pope taking it away, though.
No objective on the map for a little bit of Rebel Baron power play, fairly minor. Denying it, though, is a big deal, and it mostly just means that CFO stick around in the game. Now, we do have the Chemtech Soul possibly there for T1. But if it was a Hextech, if it's an Infernal, even a Mountain, I think the value would be without question. Now I'm not too sure if the Impale.
Initial start, Honkyu off to the side. Keep your eyes on him. Equalizer cross trying to zone Honkyu off. It's a good initial start. Owner in trouble though. And the knockback from Keria is big. Rest of them, it's the entire T1 lineup, and he lives for an extra moment. The curtains are called. And T1 are retreating. Backing away, diligent, body blocking for the low health teammates.
Oh, double TP used for CFO. Single TP for Faker. Honkyu actually TPing back into the fight after Keria knocked him out. And in the end, it's a lot of summoners being exchanged, but no one going down, and really this just felt like a precursor to the Drake fight that might decide the game.
Kai Wing, though, crucially no flash. Flash is up for everyone on the side of T1, so many resources, and it's going to come down to the slimmest of margins. Alt cooldowns, flashes, who has Zhonya's, who doesn't. Pot picked up by the side of Rest. 500 gold. It won't build towards another item, but he needs that immediate injection of stats. That's the state the game is in. He knows any fight could be the final fight of this game. And for CFO, very well could be the final fight of this series if they can come out on top.
T1 do have the luxury of trying to play for maybe a mid push, something else. There isn't a Baron on the map, obviously, but this is only the second Drake if CFO do get it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see T1 play fully for the fight, not necessarily to actually get this objective. Faker sitting on an impale right now, but is spotted by Rest. Rest, by the way, was looking for that flank. If he can get on top of Guma again.
2.7, getting lower. Objective taken. T1 know that they don't have to overcommit for it. It's Faker on the side. Faker finding Rest. It's a big start to the fight. Junja realizes this is not the angle they can go for. Pick to start, but Doran wants more. T1 hungry for the chase.
Burn.
Rapid retreat from CFO, but T1 still chasing.
There's no turret. Faker's going to keep on chasing.
Big cone massive. This might just be. Flash forward. Ulti, Doggo flashing out. Faker looking for the angle, stealing away the Nautilus ulti. Will lock up Doggo, but they don't quite have the follow-up. It's going to be Kai Wing drop. They will take him down. Good kills to the side of T1. They don't get the Drake, but they put the gold back in their favor.
They can't push though, with Honku still alive. Same for the Jhin.
But again, it's the slimmest of margins. The flash now gone for Doggo in the next fight. Yes, he has cleanse, but it's not going to do anything against the Flag and Drag. It's not going to do anything against the ultimate of the Jarvan.
It's Faker that finds the pick. 45 seconds on the Baron.
Junja looking for Faker. Goes golden, but Honku lays down the miasma, and Faker's got nowhere left to go. Tries to turn it back, stealing away ulti, stunned up. T1! Are they going to keep going? It's cost them so many times. Is this the right fight? They have to be asking themselves, but they don't even hesitate. They go in, they find their man. T1 keep going, they will not relent.
Just be careful, Rest is on his way. Level 17, Ambessa. A threat indeed. Faker goes down, but the timers are favorable for T1. 10 seconds on Nash. Bases are going to come in. I know this Team Dracos, they are going to gun straight for that objective. But CFO still have an opportunity. Obviously easy for Junja to make his way into this pit. There's Giga Cones, he's Skarner. Carryat not going to be given a base.
Guma throwing down a bit of poke. Rest tries to retake control of the mid lane. CFO ahead on tempo. Faker respawning in 6 will be first on the map. Neither mid laner having access to TP, although Faker's a little bit closer.
No death cap for Faker, absolutely huge. A spike for any AP character that at this point in the game feels like a necessity, not going to be available for him. I don't know how much gold he's sitting on, but not having that available can be the difference in this fight.
T1 need to wait for Zhonya's. Such an important cooldown.
Could play it slow as well, but
no flash for Owner, no flash for Keria, although hard to tell with the exhaust heal. Might have it available in a few seconds after he does drop it mid-fight. Junja not having flash makes it pretty easy to knock him out of the pit. You highlighted it before. A vulnerable target for the Poppy. Ultimate as Junja starts going on to Guma. Smite, the ulti completely whiffs, and T1 see that as their sign to kick the fight off. Gumayushi's ultimate managing to land, but it's Rest into the backside. Guma immediately, the exhaust coming in from Keria. It's clutch, but the rest of the fight falling apart for the side of T1. Doran has to make the difference. Doran has to burn them down, but it's Keria! He finds the angle to send them packing! Honku still going. An ulti, knocked back into the wall. The Cassio's still going. Doran trying to burn him, trying to take him out. It's Guma to follow. Going golden. An extra moment, but Honku drops T1. Willing to trade blood for silver, giving everything they have to go to game 5. Rest running.
So this is flash. T1 know that they can't really do the objective and good conscious about their jungler. So they want an exit kill. Not going to be given one though. As Rest needs to be respected. The mobility. Absolutely crazy. That does mean though there's no flash on Honku as we take a look. Junja, the hero of his region. So many consecutive first place finishes, doesn't find Guma. And then Keria steps in front to ensure that Rest doesn't get on top of the Varus immediately. And Doran in the back line, together with Owner, already doing great work. But with the arrival of Keria and that ultimate taking away the biggest damage dealer that at that point is still available for CFO. T1, they want to bring us to a game 5. That wasn't enough though, because as big as it was, as good as getting that flash is, still need to do more.
Definitely do. Take a chance. Whether you're here in the stadium or at home, take a breath. T1 still in a comfortable position. The onslaught of poke, something that CFO have to contend with. Every single fight has been bloody. Summoner spells, maybe the most important resource in this game.
Gold lead is basically negligible at this point in the game. Doesn't really matter. Faker, still no death cap, by the way.
Iwin. Junja coming to the wall. Threatening posturing. Guma. Popping the Yomus.
As soon as that Edge of Night is down.
Thorn on the side. Honkyu, the crucial member.
T1 not looking like they are in a position to make a play. Faker, he's got to have the death cap.
He has TP, but there's one good ward behind. Potentially an angle to flank near the Wolves.
I think T1 are going to play for the fight again. Oh, that's
6K.
a deep flank.
Ulti across the team. Honkyu waiting over the wall. 2K willing to flip it, and they manage to get the chem deck. Drake 3-3 across the board,
Baker.
but T1 now wants the fight. Rest off to the side. Baker trying to find the lockup. Doggo for now completely untouched. Ulti stolen away, but he manages to sidestep. Rest still going, doing everything that he possibly can, but it's already down for Junja. Baker finding the kill, going in onto Doggo. He gets another 3 down for CFO at TP mid. They need this to be the final fight. They need to execute CFO here. They need to take it to game 5. Honkyu falling, desperate to turn it back, but look at his damage on the way in. The interrupt on the flag and drag. Honkyu gets an extra second. Carrier knocked up. Honkyu still just raining down damage. Only 18. The flag and drag coming up. Oh. He goes down. Guma out of nowhere finishes the kill.
And we are going to game number 5, Dracos. The CFO, despite their most valiant efforts, can't actually take down T1 in the 4th game. They're gonna have side selection.
It's time for Silver Scrapes. T1, hold on. In the face of defeat, they bring us to Silver Scrapes.